think we can start with a prayer and then
Please.
Om Narayanam Paripurna Gunanavaya Vishodhaya Sthiti Daiva
नीतिप्रदाय ज्ञानप्रदाय विबुधासुरसौख्यदुःख तत्कारणाय विदताय नमो नमस्ते अभ्रमं भङ्गरहितम् अजडं विमलं सदा आनन्दतीर्थमतलं भजेतापत्रयापहं पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे आपादमौलिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाक्तिं स्मरेत् तेन विज्ञाः प्रश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति मनोरथाः हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. We are doing the Bhagavad Gita, second Adhyaya. There was a question, but I think it was from Bhavani. He is not here. So we'll park that question for now. We'll proceed. And if she comes, then we'll address that question. I think it was about the war where, the current day wars. I think that was the question, I think, right?
Yeah, it was about whether the war is
Yeah.
physical war only, that the message in the Bhagavad Gita is about physical war. Does it relates to
Yeah.
Rajniti, political aspect of what needs to be done, or is there more to it?
Yeah. So it's basically about the war. So we'll probably park that question for now because she's not here. We'll proceed with the next concepts. So when she comes back, we'll address that question again. And we were talking about how we have to treat sukha dukkha in the same way, labha nashta same way, jaya and parajaya same way. But then it doesn't make sense. So we address that. That treating them same way does not mean they give same kind of a mental feeling or whatever, but treating them the same way means how we have a swatantra in both the things. We don't have either sukha dukkha. In acquiring that, we don't have swatantra. In feelings of that, we don't have swatantra. And also treating them equally means they are temporary. With the sukha dukkha is not a permanent thing. Either whatever sukha comes, it's going to end. Whatever dukkha comes is going to end sometime. The life itself is transient. So all these are temporary. So the temporariness, lack of control of ours, Paramatma controlling everything, the temporariness and the balance of mind. The balance of mind, we should be able to treat them with absolute balance of mind. Like when sukha comes, we should not feel over-elated and lose our head. When dukkha comes, we should not feel depressed and completely be without action, that kind of a thing. So we must always be able to engage in action irrespective of what is happening around us. That needs a lot of maturity and balance of mind. So that's what is being addressed there. And then Krishna says, Esha te abhita sankhye buddhi yoge tu imam shunu. Buddhya yukto ya partha karma bandham prahasya. There, we talked about this buddhi, manasu, ahankara, chitta, chetana, these five, how they work. So a little bit of that we'll touch upon because it's very practical. The mana prabhedas, five prabhedas that are there, how they function. It's a practical thing. So a little bit we'll touch upon that, but if needed, we can address it later with more details. But mind, whenever we want to do something or do anything, engage in action or think, the first thing that comes into play is the mind, because the mind has to grasp. Of course, the sense organs are used as tools, but the mind is what is put into action among these five prabhedas in the very beginning. So the mind takes it and say, hey, should I do this? Should I do that? What is it about? What are the benefits? So the mind starts a thinking process. So the thinking process is what is the first thing that takes part in the mental arena. Once the thinking starts, then the next thing that comes into play is the buddhi. Buddhi, what it does is it analyzes. Okay, I have mind provides, like we talk about data, information, and organization, and knowledge, all these things we talk about. So first you collect all the information, the data that is collected. It's a random pieces of data. Then you organize the data. It becomes a planned information, a structure of information. Then after that, you analyze that information using your intellectual skills. And then you make conclusions based on the processing. And then you use other things, like you have to remember what happened last time. If I did this, this happened. So the memory comes into play also. And then there's a long-term memory, which we'll talk about it now. But here, the mind, when it puts all the data together, the intellect, buddhi we call, the buddhi has a what we call vichakshana shakti. That means it tries to judge, hey, this is the right thing. If we do this, we are benefited. If we don't do this, we have problems. If we do this way, there's an issue. All this kind of analysis is done by the intellect. We call buddhi or intellect. So the buddhi comes into play after the mind does its job. And manasu, buddhi, and all these have an underlying layer actually. All this, buddhi, manasu, chitta, chetana have an underlying layer which is called ahankara. Ahankara means not the arrogance, but ahankara is awareness of I. Because if I am not aware of myself, I cannot do anything else at all. I cannot even see, mind won't function, nothing will function. So that's why ahankara, we call ahankara tattva. So the ahankara tattva is like a basis. It is working all through, in every stage it is there, mind stage, intellect stage, every stage. So the ahankara, he says, I'm aware of myself, then I'll be able to function. So ahankara forms like a foundational basis. And when the buddhi is using that, processing the information, it also uses what we call a smruti, that is called chitta. Chitta. So manasu, buddhi, ahankara, chitta, chetana. So there's a reason why they order it this way. So the center ahankara is like a center thing. That's why manasu, buddhi, ahankara. And that central ahankara controls everything. And chitta is the shorter memory. Shorter memory means it can be, only for like a day, 2 day old memory, or for this lifetime also. Even that is like a short time compared to eternity or long thing. Within this lifetime, memory is the shorter memory. So the short-term memory is also used in analyzing, okay, this is beneficial for me, this is not beneficial for me. In analyzing that, the short-term memory becomes a tool. It is also an sadhana that helps us in making judgment, decision, and all that. So this chitta and these are the rules. Then we talk about chetana. Chetana is a little bit involved and confusing, or because the Jiva Chetana is also called Chetana. Chetana is like, the sentience, or Jiva is also called Chetana, Chaitanya, Chetana Swarupa. But that's not what we're talking about. It's a mental Prabheda Chetana. That means, along with the Jiva, the mind that is functioning on the side of the Jiva, and which is actually passed on from life to life to life. Sometimes, we remember certain things, we don't know how it comes to our mind. Maybe from our prior life, we think, we don't know, we have no clue. Like, for example, even a newborn infant suckling the mother's breast, it doesn't, who told that if it suckles the mother's breast, the hunger will go away? But it is from the prior life. So the chetana is a long term, they call it vuti. Just as smruti is within this lifetime, vuti is across the lifetimes. So something that we remember across, like we call it, sometimes it comes in the form of what they call vasanas. Vasanas means the mental aberrations, feelings, or impressions that are carried forward from life to life. They are very, very subtle and incomprehensible, and not hard to notice. We cannot really notice them so much, but it has its own role. It also plays the role, and this is the 5 prabheda, manasika prabhedas, we call the variations that function in our lifetime and all through. And when we leave the body and go to another body, the chetana carries the impressions along with that, and continue. That's why we do the sadhana from life to life. We don't start every lifetime at a zero level. It appears as if because newborn baby is like at zero level, but when it comes off the age, automatically there will be a quantum leap. And whatever sadhana was done in prior lives, it gets triggered, and we continue, perpetuate our sadhana from that point on. That is why we make progress. So we don't have to worry, hey, every janma I start from zero and I end up something, and again I start at zero. This worry need not be there, because the God will help us to continue our sadhana from life to life to life. So that is how we have to take it. And yeah, I think Bhavani came. So last time that there was last Monday, there's a question about the yuddha. There, all kinds of yuddha. Of course, there is a mental fights as well, but that's not relevant. We are talking about so many modern wars that are happening. There we heard a statement saying that हतो वा प्राप्स्यसे स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः. Mahabharata war or Dharma wars is fine, but here ordinary wars are like political wars are taking place. So what happens to the fight of who gets what kind of results? You may not be able to exactly pinpoint, okay, this one person gets this result or something like that, but we can have a general idea what happens to the participants of the war from different positions. Like, for example, from ordinary soldier to the political leaders who are responsible for the wars. Always, as we talked about the manasika prabhedas, yad bhavam tad bhavati. So our mental attitude, what is the intention behind every action of ours? That's what matters. In these political wars, anybody, like all the great big political leaders, for their selfish needs, they start a war. They are the biggest culprits. They reap the huge loss. I mean, they may not go through the losses in their present lifetime, but they will pay the price because they are responsible for the ruining of life of hundreds, thousands, or millions of people. So they definitely will pay a long-term price for that. So the mental attitude is what matters. And ordinary soldiers, if we take, they are forced into that. If the person is forced and he's fighting the war, irrespective of which side he's fighting, whether he's fighting on the right side or wrong side, or whatever side he is fighting, he's forced into that action. So either he will have very little result from that, or he may have some positive result because he says, for the sake of his family, for the sake of his life, for the sake of whatever reasons he's fighting the war. So there is a sense of responsibility in him as far as to support his family and do something for him or his family. He is doing that. So to that extent, based upon his mental attitude, his way of doing things, he will get results accordingly. So he may get a small amount of swarga or small amount of sukha or some happy life in the next life or whatever. But if that person, like terrorists, we talked about the terrorists also, and definitely they will not get any benefit at all because their intention is evil intentionally. So always in all these things, whether it is a present day war or past wars or any wars, or even our day-to-day life activities, even our mental activities, everything, the intention matters always. That's why we stress, our shastras stress a lot on intention. What is the final goal? What is the inner intention? What is the inner feelings of that person? Why is he doing that particular action? To help the good people, or to torture the good people, or to help the bad people, or to torture the bad people? What is it that person is doing it for? So that's what determines what kind of a result that person is was. Gahana karmano gati, we are going to talk about it. The karma gati is very complex. So Paramatma knows, because he is the indweller. He knows the every innermost feeling of every person, every jiva. Paramatma knows. So he will give the results accordingly, depending upon the intention, feelings and attitude of the person. So the final thing that we have to worry about is for us to make our future life, our future janmas happy. What we have to do is we have to keep our minds clean and clear as much as possible, not to hurt other beings, as much as possible, help our people, and not only selfishness should not be confined to only me and my family, not me, my family, my society, not only that much, me, my family, my society, and all the good people around me. So that's like you extend your arena or the realm to more and more width, saying that I am going to be a benefit to the society. I am not going to be a bane to the society. This is what a person has to lead his life on this string. It's like walking on the sword, edge of the sword. But that is what should be the goal of life. The goal of life is to go in a direction that is positive in attitude in a very which way. That's what we have to think about it. And so we answered the question and we covered a few concepts. I will park it here so that people have any questions, they can feel free to ask. Hare Srinivasa.
Namaskar, Acharya. Thank you very much for the explanation. Certain things were not clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the modern life, whatever wars are happening, this is a very good explanation because a lot of things, not everything is a Dharma Yuddha. Someone is forcing somebody to do something. Thank you very much. Dhanyavada. Namaskar.
Sure. No problem.
So I have a question, Keshav.
Yeah, sure.
So far we have studied Sankhya Yoga, which is like you told previously that it is about the various different entities in the Prapanch. And so now here, from here onwards, Esha te Gita Sankhya Buddhi Yogin Timam Shrunu. So now Lord is going to be talking about Buddhi Yoga. So you told us about the Buddhi Prabhed. What is the definition of Buddhi Yoga as per what is given?
See, Esha te Abhita Sankhye Buddhi Yoge. So it is actually saying, not differentiating so much Sankhya and Buddhi, because both are Jnana based. Samyak Khyati, Buddhi, both are. So in Sankhya, in Buddhi Yoga, so actually Krishna is qualifying both. So whatever I am telling is Sankhya Yoga, but it is not different from Sankhya Yoga, which is also a Buddhi Yoga. So it's actually synonymous in the sense, both Sankhya and Buddhi Yoga. Yoga is Jnanopaya, basically. That's why both are Jnana based. So here, what all is being discussed is actually almost like a Paryaya Pada. It's not that, okay, up to now I told Sankhya Yoga and Buddhi Yoga. So whatever I have told in Sankhya Yoga, which is also a Buddhi Yoga, listen to that carefully. And then he says, Buddhya yuktaha yaya partha karma bandham prahasisi. So Sankhya Yoga is like, you can say something like that. Sankhya Yoga is like, Buddhi Yoga is in the same box, but they are going together in the sense one supports the other. Sankhya Yoga gives you the jnana, as I said, like, information, data, knowledge, and all that. So Sankhya Yoga gives the jnana or information and knowledge. And Buddhi Yoga is utilization of that knowledge. So you can say Sankhya Yoga is acquisition of knowledge. Buddhi Yoga is application of knowledge. So it's something like a theoretical and practical type of thing. Both are knowledge, but Sankhya Yoga gives a theoretical aspect. And I'm not really sticking to that, but something like that. So Sankhya Yoga is giving a theoretical aspect of that. Buddhi Yoga is giving a practical aspect. That's why it says Sankhya Buddhi Yoga tu imam shrunu buddhya yuktaha yaya partha karma bandham prahasisi. So when Buddhi Yukta person utilizing his Buddhi or intellect, he knows now how to apply it when he does the application of that, he will be successful in getting rid of the karma bandha. So that is how it's like a transition. Sankhya Buddhi Yoga, though they are in the same box, both are knowledge related. One is actually triggering you into action, the other one makes you advance into the action realm. So that's how you can take it.
So basically, Sankhya Yoga is the concepts have been told. Now, how to use it in our practical life to become Nirdvanda, Sattvastho, to
Yeah.
understand the real import of Vedas through the discrimination and using our
Yeah.
intellect. Okay.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
So building the structure. So Sankhya is actually building the structure, and Buddhi Yoga is utilizing that structure.
Dhanyavad. Sashtang Namaskar.
Sure.
Hare Srinivasa, Namaskara. Is Vasana and Samskara are the same or different?
Vasanas are the impressions, mental impressions which we carry. Samskara means samskara again depends on what context. Like for example, short samskara, that's a different. That's the procedures that we perform. Samskara is the person, what samskaras he develops within himself. That's a different sense. So the vasanas will lead us to the samskara. So the mental samskaras are nothing but the outcome of the vasanas. So vasanas are the mental impressions which will lead to the samskara process. So the samskaras actually are the outcome of the vasanas. Vasanas are the mental impressions. Samskaras are the outcome of those vasanas.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Namaskar, Acharya. One question, sorry.
Sure.
Vasanas, how do we gather those kind of impressions basically? For example,
No.
Rajas, Tamas, Satvika gunas are in every human being. We are human beings. So how to clear them, or how these impressions are formed? Are these Purva Janma Vasanas?
No, we don't
or
have control over them. We
No,
don't
we
have
don't
control
have.
over them. Vasanas are what is given to us. So we don't, okay, let me choose this vasana. No, we don't even know. We don't know what vasana is there. So they are the mental impressions, because how your mind reacts, you don't have control over that. So vasanas, okay, let me choose this vasana. No, okay, this is Sattvika vasana. Let me choose this. We don't have our own swabhava triggers that, and those vasanas are brought in. So we have absolutely, we don't even know what vasanas are coming, what are carrying us, how they are taking us. We don't see. We are only the, I mean, a crude term, victims of the vasanas. We are driven by those vasanas. So we have absolutely no control over that.
Dhanyavad, Acharya. Thanks.
They are mental impressions given to us, and we are just reacting to them. That's all.
One more following question. Is vasanas are along with the jiva, that is in the Swarupa Deva, or is in the Chetana?
No, vasanas are mental impressions. They are outside the jiva. They are not vasanas. They are prakritika. So they have nothing to do with the jiva. Jiva, of course, jiva activates them. They function because we are alive. Jivas, but vasanas are not part of the jiva, because jiva is, goes to moksha. The vasanas are not there at all. So it's not part of the jiva. It's outside jiva. It's only in the stula.
So it will be there in
They
the
are carried
Chetana,
from.
one of the pravrittis of
Is the lakshana is the jiva lakshana. Basically, the not jiva lakshana. What I mean is the ones jiva uses when it is using the physical body, like they are present in sthula sharira of the, like, our physical body, sthula sharira, aniruddha sharira. It can go at the most to little extent into the linga. That's all. So it cannot go underneath the linga, like in it cannot touch jiva. Jiva is untouched by the vasanas. But the jiva is like same thing. Like for example, neha vikramanashasti, there we saw somebody pierces our skin, our thing. It's actually not piercing the jiva. We feel the pain. Why is jiva feeling the pain when something is piercing the body? Body is different, jiva is different. But body is piercing, but jiva feels the pain. Why? Means we talked about that, like a house, we own a house, and if we say as long as we have abhimana for the house, I own the house. If it house gets burned, I feel, oh, very bad, very bad. I sell the house, it gets burned. Thank God, I got rid of it and it burnt. Now same house burning because of abhimana. Same way the jiva feels the abhimana for the deha. So whatever is happening to the deha, oh, it's happening to me. Same way the vasanas are all at the bhautika level. It's but the jiva feels because of its abhimana. It feels, so it's for me. It's my vasana. My vasana. No, it's not jiva vasana. It's the deha vasanas or stula, aniruddha, linga. There's vasanas. Jiva feels, oh, it's my vasana. My vasana. It's ignorance. It's ajnana.
That means this vasana is reflected in the Swarupa Gnanendriya. Indriyas or Swarupindriya.
No. Swarupa, ajnana is in Swarupa. Vasanas are not in Swarupa. Vasanas are in bhautika only. Stula. Vasanas are in not in jiva.
No, I mean Swarupindriya of the
Huh?
jiva. That is Swarupindriyas.
No. Swarupendriya is not the jiva swarupa, indriya, sakshi, they're all synonymous. Only vishesha. We say, okay, swarupendriya. Swarupendriya is nothing but jiva itself. Swarupendriya is not different from jiva.
Okay. I got your point. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Dhanyavad Shri Keshara. We'll do a small
Okay.
prayer and then.
Yeah.
Om Pratah Prabhiti Sayantam Sayadi Pratarantataha Yat
Karomi Jagannatha Tadastu Tava Pujanam Pratakadikam Karma Nitya Naimittikam Tatha Keshavarādhanārthaya Karishyeham Tavagneya.
Narpanamastu. Dhanyavad Shri Keshara.
Dhanyawada, namaskara.
Namaskara.
Next session, please, whatever the slokam you are reading in the last, can you please explain the meaning of it, Keshwara?
Sure. We'll do that.
Thank you.
No
Very beautiful. It is very meaningful. Thank you. Namaskara.
Namaskara.
Dhanyawada.
Dhanyawada.
Hare Srinivasari. Namaskara.
Hare Srinivasa. Namaskara.